my forge, my up-and-coming business, hopefully, is called Odin's Ironworks. For forging companies and any metalworking companies, having ironworks or steelworks or something like that helps it sound more official. It just has a better roll off the tongue. But the actual name, I wanted it to be Norse in origin because I'm Norse pagan. But I wanted it to be understandable enough that it wouldn't turn people off or be too niche. And Odin's Eye, my wife came up with when we were hanging out on the porch one day, just chatting about it. And immediately it struck me because the first question I had was, which one? He lost one. He's called the One-Eyed. And that was exactly the question I wanted because it makes people think. Was it the eye that he sacrificed for wisdom and knowledge? Or was it the eye that he uses to see the whole 9 realms? That's kind of the question, you know? I just like it. Yeah, it started about 3.5 years ago. It was while my now wife was pregnant. Sitting up in bed, watching TV a lot. Got to watching Forged in Fire like a whole bunch of other guys. And I just looked at it and thought, I can do that. Pretty good at tactile stuff, have pretty good knowledge of science, history of chemistry and college and everything, and then welding for welding school, and I thought, I can do that. Why shouldn't I? As I burned through season after season, I noticed that the farriers and the traditional blacksmiths usually did better. They were able to overcome problems a lot easier with their experience in different techniques and everything. And I thought, that looks like the thing for me. So it's called a touch mark. It's kind of like a blacksmith's signature. A lot of guys get a stamp that has their actual name on it, which is smart in modern times, but again, I like to stay to the roots and be a little more traditional. And a lot of the older hats back in the day, and even still, just have symbols. And it's their unique symbol. Mine is actually a bind rune. It's several different Old Norse runes smashed together. One of them means protection. One of them means family and prosperity. Another one means prosperity in a new business venture specifically. And one of them means fire and passion. I couldn't think of anything better. I'm a family man. Everyone needs protection. And fire and passion, this is my passion. It's not just a hobby. I pour myself into it. And everything I make has a little bit of me in it. It just fit, and you smash them all together, and that's my touch mark. I pour my soul into everything I do. It's a lot of literal blood, sweat, and tears. Frustration and successes, and there's a lot of me poured into every bit of it. And with my particular touch mark being a bind rune, I like to think that my intentions are passed on to the people that buy my products. I've probably done close to 200 or 300 Scottish hairpins at this point. I do a lot of paper towel stands or toilet paper stands, whatever they fit. I've done railroad spike knives, keychains. I'm working on a game set for horseshoes and hooks, a whole lot of different styles of hook, anything traditional blacksmith work, hinges, that type of thing. So I'm still working on nails. Getting the header right is tricky, but blacksmith nails are square, not round, and they have a grit to them, so you can't pull them out. And that's what the Amish use. That's why their barns last 200 years and they never fall down. They're a lot better than the modern stamp stuff. So working on it. They're a little bit tricky, but I do all kinds of traditional style blacksmith work. I put air quotes around traditional because there's a lot of argument around, you know, what traditional blacksmithing is. Well, if you go back historically to the 1600s, each blacksmith would specialize in one particular thing. So when the king needs swords and arrows for war, an entire smithy would be dedicated to just arrowheads, and another smithy would be dedicated towards fletching and making the shafts for the arrows, and another one would be specialized in making the blades for swords, and another one would be specialized in making the hilts and the pommels. Like, they highly specialized, and it depends on regional context in the world and the time frame. Some of them were extremely specialized. When I say traditional blacksmithing, I think more colonial American times. A little bit more universal. They can apply their skills to everything, and you have a small settlement, you got one blacksmith, he needs to make everything. So that's what I say when I say traditional. This is a leaf keychain. Just a little guy, you can You put on your key ring and carry with you. Doesn't have my stamp, there wasn't room. This is the perfect beginner project for any aspiring blacksmith or knife maker, really, because it teaches a lot of basic techniques. All the techniques used in knife making are the same used in blacksmithing. It's just applied differently. It's knowing how to make a taper and then draw the steel down and do half-face blows on the anvil, and all these things are applicable to every discipline, they're just used differently. And this was one of the first things I ever made because it combined all of those basic techniques. It's the perfect little ditty, it takes maybe 20 minutes. If you get really good at it, it could be 10 minutes. Yeah, it's got chiseling on it, it's got tapering, it's got drawing steel to make fat steel thinner, bending with scroll tongs, scroll it around, and perfect little thing. I have an Instagram account. The name will be changing soon to Odin's Eye Ironworks, so you can find me on Instagram there. It's a portfolio of all of my work, all kinds of things. Herb choppers, there's forge welded stuff, and Scottish hairpins, wands, magic wands, all kinds of things. Well, hopefully soon I'll be getting an LLC, pretty easy thing to get and start up, and I'll have an official name and can actually start this as an official business, not just a hobbyist at the farmer's market. I can expand my reach a little bit more and have a social media presence, really get my name out there, get some official looking cards. The dream is for this to be how I support my thing. If I could work for myself and do what I love the most and have that be profitable enough that we can live off of that, that's the dream. But for now, the 50-meter goal is to have it pay for itself, and it is. So I've reached that goal, and the next step is to have it be an official business.